Hello you lot, Miller Corner here and welcome back to Super Seicento, one of perhaps the most stressed and tense and frantic episodes of this series I've ever done. Because you see, as I film this, there are just a few short weeks to go until this little nugget and I go on a road trip. We're going with Aaron from Car Obsession with his Seicento Bella that we've met on the channel previously. We are going to Wales, some of the most beautiful views and epic roads in the country to celebrate these little nuggets. And I cannot wait, but this car is not entirely ready for that road trip. There's a few things broken, a few things missing, a few things that need sorting. This is going to be a bit of a disjointed video. I'm filming bits of it in between hours at work and in my lunch hour and at the weekends, and it's not in all quite the right order, so you might see me wear warm clothes, then slightly colder clothes. The car might get dirtier, then cleaner, then the weather might change. It's going to be a bit disjointed, just bear with me. First things first though, we're going to look at the light lenses, because you may remember when this car got resprayed a few years ago, I spray tinted the indicator repeaters for the front, the tail lights and the side repeaters, and at the back it still looks pretty good, but the clear lenses on the side and the front not holding up quite so well. They're starting to go pale, they're starting to peel off around the edges, and they even looked a bit brown in some light. Then I thought, why don't I just get some thinners, clear the tint off and try them clear lens? I actually kind of like that look. I was so keen to do it, in fact I didn't even film doing the front ones, so I apologise for that. Now the side repeaters was a different story, because I managed to pull them off and I then thinnered all the tint film off and I put them back on. However, the indicator lenses themselves obviously got a bit damaged where I was so aggressive with the rag with thinners on it, because it started to eat away at the plastic. They went all cloudy and nasty. Why just repair when you can upgrade? So I've bought some LED side repeaters for a Seicento, PS also the same as a Fiat Multipla, would you believe, and they just go straight in. I've already done one on the other side just as a bit of a dry run, and now I'm going to show you how easy it hopefully is to change those side repeaters for lovely LED ones. And I'll put a link in the description, by the way, AliExpress if you're wondering. Removing this, easy, twist that off, and then we can remove what's left of the gasket, which is very little. Yeah, see, that's just coming off. That's going in the bin, don't worry, I don't litter. Now the actual bulb holder itself is held on with like plastic legs that sort of locate themselves into the inner wing, and it is a complete arse to try and squeeze both of them from outside the wing to try and get them on. But I found the easiest way to do it was with a tiny flathead screwdriver like this one. Oh balls. What if, hang on, here's an idea. God, this is fiddly. You're going to see lots of footage of me just doing what I've been doing to try and get this out, so let's have a jump cut. You missed about 15 minutes of swearing there, but we are out. And one thing I have learned from doing the other side is that these connectors don't give up easily. In fact, on the other side, I slightly broke the wire and snapped the connectors off and had to use bullet connectors, so I'm not expecting this one to give up any easier, if I'm honest. These connectors do not have an easy life. You're supposed to just be able to push on that and it pull out, but as you can see, it's pretty grot, having spent the last 20 years in the wing of the car, so I don't know if this is going to come out. We may just have to cut it and put spade connectors on it, which I don't really want to do, but it is a thing you can do. So again, let's have another jump cut while I find out if this will unplug. Sit rep, after some very careful and tense moments leveraging it with a thin screwdriver, we got it out. These are notoriously brittle, by the way. If you've got a Seicento, there's a good chance yours of these are knackered. All the bulb holders are just crap, frankly. So here's a treat. If you're watching and you want a Seicento side repeater bulb holder, do get in touch. This one's actually all right, it would seem. I think we're just going to spray a little bit of our LED one, just plugs straight in like so. There we go, that was satisfying. Before you put it back in the wing, make sure it works. So let's try that. How's it going on? Yes! Oh yeah, baby. Super bright LED side repeater. That looks the business. And it's even easier to fit. I just push it in, line up the legs, and she's in. Oh, I am so pleased with that. That looks really, really nice, really tasteful, really classy. And actually it does update the car a little bit. It does also show, if I show you, how slow a traditional halogen light bulb is. You notice how this one here is actually ticking on and off, this one's kind of pulsing in and out. I think some LED indicator bulbs might be in this car's future, but for now, that is a win. I got both of those with side repeaters for, I think, £8 delivered off AliExpress. Link in the description, go and do it. Yes. Next thing I want to sort is the window, and I don't mean the fact it's disgusting. I mean the fact that when you're driving along, it moves. You can kind of see there there is quite a lot of wiggle in it, and obviously when you're driving along, the car's moving around, there is more vibration in it than that. Depending on what height you're at, you either get it chattering around against the door frame or even hitting the wind deflector there, which is really annoying. So I either have to have it entirely down, or if you have it all the way up, you can actually hear sort of a rattling moving sound of the glass moving almost within the door. So what I'm hoping is it's just that the actual window regulator has come loose in there over the years, the bolts have worn out, and just tighten them up again. So I need to take all this off, the armrest, the door card, and then peel back the membrane and then see in there. But because we've done this a few times before, I've got the power of doing it with the YouTuber Snap. It wasn't until I saw all the tape on this membrane I realised quite how many times I've been in this door to do various things over the years. Now, first things first, I can see all these little 10mm nuts into studs on the window regulator which hold it into the door itself. First of all, just whang on these as tight as I can with my handy ratchet and see if that stops any movement at all. Let's find out. All of these were not really loose, certainly not hand tight like I was kind of hoping one of them would be, but I can actually move it by hand. There is movement in it that I can move the window up and down with my hand without too much force, and that would suggest to me that the whole mechanism in the regulator is a bit slack. So potentially we take this regulator out, have a look at it, and if there's anything obviously worn with it, I can replace it. So I've finally got a replacement window regulator to repair this wobbly rubbish, and I'm going to talk you through how to remove it before I do it, because it's impossible to film while you're doing it pretty much. Bolts holding it in, you've got these three here and this one here, which I believe are 8mm, possibly 10. Before you do that though, you've got to get the window glass out, because that is staying in the car, held on by these two star-bitted screws. I hate star and Allen heavy bolts, but they're there anyway. Before you undo them though, which will take the glass out of the regulator itself, you need to make sure it's not going to go anywhere, because we know where to hold it, it'll just fall in the door. You have to masking tape the window glass to the door frame so that when it's got nothing holding it up, it won't just drop into the door. Then we're going to undo all these bolts. Hopefully we can then tease the older reg out of the door and fit the lovely new one. The door card has to come off because there's a bolt down the bottom. Stand by. Okay. Stay regular, won't you? That's FT. Okay, I'm calling that tight. 3, 2, 1. Yes! Oh! That works so well. That seems quicker than the old one as well. Oh, I'm happy with that. I'll take it for a drive in a minute, make sure it doesn't wobble its nuts off like the old one, but I'm pleased with that. That works well and it seems to be quick. Success. 25 quid, second-hand part. Reduce, reuse and recycle, people, because a new one is like 100 quid. Second-hand one was 25 quid and appears to have done the job. Yes! Next issue I want to sort is to do with this rear wiper, which you might remember I had a lot of problems with at the beginning of this year in the first video I did of 2024, of not being able to clear the entire swept area of the rear wiper. There's this big chunk here which worked initially and then gradually the wiper stopped wiping away, and a few people have had this problem apparently. Of late there have been more problems with this rear wiper motor. For a start, grab hold of it and it wobbles. It's not entirely tight, there's a bit too much slack in it, and more recently it's been getting slower. You turn the rear wiper on and it does still do the entire arc, albeit missing that bit still, but it is incredibly slow. It takes 2 or 3 times the normal speed it does, and frankly it's a bit flaccid and awkward, which when you get to my age isn't too unusual. I do have a solution. I have to give a massive thank you and shout out to Rich, who watches my videos. Rich, thank you so much if you are watching, because he donated another rear wiper motor for the Seicento. He just had this one lying around in his garage and refused to take any money for it. Didn't want any money to buy it. He didn't even ask for postage to be paid. If you want me to donate some money to charity on your behalf, then do jump in the comments, let me know which charity to do. I will stick some money in a pot for you, because that is awesome. Community spirit that you only get with mad old nuggets. So without further ado, let's get this fitted. You simply open the tailgate, which if you're very clever, you'll have already popped. You remove the plastic trim, which is in here, which is about 3 or 4 screws. This plastic bit of trim, in fact, which has the central brake light in it. You then have access to the wiper motor itself, which is just 3 Allen-headed bolts, my favourite. Then you unplug the motor itself, and in theory, it should just pop away once you've undone and removed the wiper itself from the outside of the car. So now I've talked you through doing that, let's overlay some footage of me doing that. There you go. We're motoring now. Let's see if we can see it coming out the other side. She's poking through. I can see the head. Congratulations, Mrs. Smith. You've given birth to a wiper motor. Plug the plugger. Turn the ignition on, find out if it works. I've just remembered the boot's open, so I can't actually put the wiper on. Let's try that again. Okay, we ready? Ah, okay, that's interesting. Right, I couldn't leave it like that, so here's a little update for you. I took the back casing off the wiper motor, which is this just white piece of plastic here, 7mm nuts bizarrely, slightly unusual, and in here, you can't tell now, was absolutely caked full, brown old sludgy grease that had just gone like mud. And it's no wonder this thing didn't even attempt to move, but it did get very warm when we kept putting power to it. So I was obviously getting the power, but the mechanism just wasn't moving. Look, there's a spindle there from the motor, connects onto that wheel, spins the mechanism, and that makes your rear wiper move. So I absolutely drowned this in brake cleaner and then electrical contact cleaner to get this as clean as I possibly could. I'm just going to put a tiny little bit of grease on the spindle there so it does actually move properly, and then we're going to bolt this all back together, and fingers crossed I may have just saved this part. Ignition, you're doing this with me. I've genuinely never done this before. Rear wiper switch is just there. Are you ready? Oh. Right, next thing I want to do before the trip is the rear anti-roll bar that we did last year. Now, this has been an awesome mod, great for budget, good for handling, just love it, do it to your car. However, I originally fitted these adjustable Droplinks with rose joints on, and it's technically done the job. However, can you hear that? They do that pretty much all the time, and whenever you go over a bump, of course, this is unloaded, so it chatters and rattles that way as well. There's nothing wrong with them. This is part and parcel of using rose joints. That's why they use them on race cars, because it doesn't matter. This isn't a race car. Quite, so I want a little bit more refinement, and thankfully I've got just the thing to replace these but keep my rear anti-roll bar in. These are anti-roll bar Droplinks. I believe they're for the back of an Audi A6. I could be wrong, but what I do know is this is the part number just there, so there you go and Google that, that's what you need. And they do happen to be exactly what you need for this. We've got two different size bolt holes, they're about the right length. These are a one-piece Droplink for a road car, so they've got rubber bushes in there, they're single piece, so they don't chatter like a bugger unless they're utterly worn out. And for a pair of brand new ones, these were I think 20 quid or 22 quid. It's always nice to use off-the-shelf parts because then you can replace them cheaper and easier than custom ones. So thanks to Ben from Worn Out Racing and to Duncan who have advised me on this. So we're going to change these over, pop these on, and hopefully no more rattling. And there we have it, an Audi A6 Droplink holding a Ford Focus and C-Max anti-roll bar onto a Seicento, and I have to say that is well worth doing. Went straight in. You do need very, very long bolts, because look at the width of the thing you're trying to do here. You do need longer bolts, people, but when they're on, that's perfect. No rattling, no shaking. That is good to go and good as gold. So now this car is pretty much road trip and Wales ready. Just a very quick oil change because it's probably overdue for one, and then we're good. So there we have it then. There are a couple of small issues. The ongoing rear wiper saga continues, and by disturbing that rear anti-roll bar we have now made the poly bushes on it squeak slightly, so they do need greasing up a bit. But other than that, the little nugget is pretty much ready for our Wales road trip. I've got those awesome new LED side repeaters. I've fitted the new window regulator, which I hope works properly. We've had a go with the rear wiper, and the car has now got much quieter, much nicer, solid Audi A6 rear anti-roll bar Droplinks, and we've done an oil change just to keep the engine healthy. And now it's just time to meet up with Aaron from Car Obsession and head to Wales. And I cannot wait. Gorgeous country, some epic roads, and one hell of an adventure in store. So stay tuned for that video, hopefully coming in the next week or two. But for now, thanks very much for watching everybody, and have a brilliant rest of your day. See you soon, and have a good one.